And Joel, welcome back to another video, and for today I am going to show you the books that I really want to read before 2020 ends. And this is actually, by the way, a result of the poll I posted a couple of days ago on my Instagram at Bisaya Reader. I posted a poll on my Instagram story. I let you choose between several. I actually forgot the choices, but it's actually the books that I want to read that won. So yeah, um, as promised, here are the books that I'm planning to read. And don't worry, I'll do my best to finish reading all of this before this year ends. So it's 2020, and um, I figured out that I need to present 20 books also so that it will rhyme. I don't think it's the rhyme is the correct word. So 20 books that I want to read before this year ends. So let's start. The first one is going to be Nuts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. This is actually a pretty old book. It's a young adult, or I don't know, maybe young adult or middle grade. It's a contemporary fiction, and I don't know anything about it. But all I know about that book is that it has a lot of awards. It was published way back in early 2000, around 2001 or 2002, and it's the first book of a four-book series. So I've heard a lot of good things about it, but when it comes to the synopsis or what the story is all about, I'm not really sure. But I'm really trusting the reviews and the awards. That's the main reason why I'm planning to read that one. And the second book I'm planning to read is actually the book I already started reading last year and I wasn't able to finish it. And it's actually under the adult category and the fantasy genre, and that is the second book of the Way of King series, and that is The Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. Uh, I really tried my best to finish the reading the book last year. I started reading it way back in July, I think, or August, and I got really exhausted. I'm not saying it's really bad, but I am a mood reader, and I'm really intimidated of how big and how thick it is, and I figured out that instead of spending a lot of time reading a very thick book, I could have read, some books that are thinner, or books that I can really finish as soon as possible, or in a small amount of time. But I was able to finish actually around a third of it, and yeah, I promise that I'll finish reading that one this year. The third is an adult science fiction, and this is Wool by Yuji Horii, the first book of the very famous science fiction by Yuji Horii. Is a very famous writer in UK, and this is actually one of the best science fiction that has written late, around early 2014, 2013. I'm not really sure the exact year what it was. It's actually a post-apocalyptic science fiction in which we follow the characters who are living underground because the world outside just got destroyed after a nuclear war, and so on and so forth. So we're following these group of people, our main characters, and how they live under the silo underground. So, and there's a lot of things that will be happening which I still don't know. That's why I'm pretty excited to read it. I tried to read the first chapter of this book last year and wasn't able to get into further because I don't know, it's actually really thick since it's an adult, and there's a lot of info dumping already in the first pages. So, but it was interesting, and there's a lot of really good reviews, and it has multiple awards also. That's why I'm going to trust to get the awards and the reviews. So I'll read it this year, I promise. Next book is an adult historical fiction with a twist of sci-fi. This is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. Actually, this is not under my radar this year, but when I purchased a hardback copy on a thrift shop here in Cebu, which is called Book Sale, I purchased a signed hardback copy, which I didn't really expect for less than $2. So, and it got mixed reviews though. There's a lot that say it's good, but it's not really for everyone. It's very polarizing, but I am really excited to which side I'm going to be on, the one who will love it or the one who's going to hate it. So I'll probably read that one. It's very when it comes to its synopsis, it's very much the same or similar to the first 15 lives of Harry August. Basically, Life After Life is that our main character is. If you're familiar with Everyday by David Levitan, he's that after he or she dies, he or she reincarnates in another body, and this time it will be 10 years after or a different timeline. So, for example, her life today is a girl before the World War II, and then after he or she died, he or she will be reincarnated to another body, but this time during World War II or around 1980s. So it's not just he or she is going to reincarnate the next day or the next week. It's going to be a reincarnation after several decades. So that makes things complicated. The next book that I'm planning to read is The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. I read this one already, the first chapter, and I was really glad that I have a personal copy for this. It's very magical, very whimsical, and it's adult fantasy. So yeah, planning to read this one on 2020. And the next book, the sixth one, I think, is going to be. I'm really sorry. The Nightingale by Christine Hanna. This is again adult historical fiction. I've read All the Light We Can't See a couple of days ago. I finished reading it. It's one of the all-time favorite already. And a lot of people who read my reviews, they commented on my photo and the review that if I like or love the All the Light We Can't See by Anthony Doerr. The Nightingale by Christine Hanna is pretty much has the same feels, I think. So I might love that one also. And yeah, it's not a coincidence. I already have a copy. It's up here of The Nightingale by Christine Hanna. So I can't wait to read that one also this year. And the next is Bright We Burn by Christine White. This is Kirsten White rather. This is the third book of historical fiction, young adult, under young adult category. The first book is And I Darken. Second book is The Now I Rise. And the third book is going to be Bright We Burn. And actually, the book which has out of the three in the trilogy, this book has the best ratings or reviews on Goodreads. So, And I Darken was really slow. I gave it 3 stars, but it was okay. I read Now I Rise last year, and it was 50 times better than And I Darken. I gave it actually 5 stars. And the way Now I Rise ended, I can't really wait to read The Bright We Burn. It's actually a retelling of Count Dracula without the fantasy. So, yeah. Next book I'm trying to read, number 8, is The Outsider by Stephen King. I never read anything from Stephen King, and I'm planning to read at least one of his book or his works this year. So I'm going to start with The Outsider. I have a hardback copy already here, and it's a horror slash mystery slash thriller. I think that's what they said. Basically, we're following a detective investigating about a case where there's the suspect, but again, I'm really confused, guys. When it comes to mystery, thriller, or horror genre, which I haven't read horror before, but somewhat the same like mystery and thriller, I really made sure that I am not really spoiled by the synopsis. So I'm always planning to read when it's under these genres, the blind or knowing less about the story itself, so that the surprise element will be there. Next is number 9. The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. This is somewhat very the same with Life After Life by Kate Atkinson, but this time this is a fantasy under young adult category. So it's just like the main character has 15 lives, and after he dies, he reincarnated again to another body or another life until he realized that he only has 15 lives. So I'm pretty excited what the story is all about. It got really good reviews also. Number 10 is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. Robert Galbraith is actually a pseudonym of J.K. Rowling. I'm a big fan of Harry Potter, and this is Cuckoo's Calling is J.K. Rowling in the pseudonym and writing under the mystery, murder, thriller genre. It got mixed reviews. It's very polarizing, but this is actually the first book of a series. So books 3 and 4 are really great. So I do have the first and second book of the series already, so I'm planning to read this one. and it's actually we're following a detective who's following a case of a dead supermodel, and it was actually a suicide. That's what they think, but the main character, which is detective, doubts that it's a suicide, so he or she is trying to investigate what really happened. So that's all I know about the book. Number 11, we're halfway there, is Middle Game by Shannon McGuire. I don't have a copy for this for now. It is a fantasy young adult, Shannon McGuire or Mira Grant. Um, that's I don't know which of the two is are her real name, Mira Grant or Shannon McGuire. I've read some something from her, which is Feed last year, adult science fiction, which I did not really love. I think or like it was just okay, but yeah, I'm going to read something from read also. Every Heart is a Doorway from her 2 years ago, way back in 2018. So I've heard a lot of good things about Middle Game. It's actually better than Night House by Lee Verdugo. That's what they said. So yep, I'm pretty excited. I don't have a copy yet, so probably once I have a copy in the future, I'm going to read it this year. The next book, number 12, is going to be another one that I don't have a copy yet. Is Still Crow Saga by Paul Kruger. This is an adult or a young adult. It's like a new adult. Let's just put it that way. It's a new adult fantasy. It is like Digimon meets Pokemon in a battle arena or Hunger Games. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to read this one. I'm a big fan of Pokemon also, and it's fantasy and it got good reviews. It was released late 2019, so can't wait to read this one. Next is The First Girl Child by Amy Harmon. I haven't heard of this one on social medias or Instagram, YouTube. I've seen this on Amazon. I was actually trying to subscribe to the Kindle Unlimited by Amazon because they have a deal last or early January, which is already 0.99, around $1 for 3 months subscription from $9.99 per month. So it's actually a big deal, a great deal. So when I tried to check what are the books that are actually that comes with the Kindle Unlimited subscriptions, there's a lot. And one of the best books that I've read or I've seen there is this one, The First Girl Child by Amy Harmon. It got really good reviews on Goodreads. It is just like flying under the radar, and it's adult fantasy. And yeah, that's all I know so far about the book. I really trust the reviews and the feedback from the readers. So the next one that I have here is I've been planning or attempting to read this one for the past 2 years, but I haven't dived into it yet. But hopefully this year I'll be able to pick this one up, and this is going to be The Human by Matt Haig. This is a science fiction adult with a bunch of comedies. It's really fun. That's what they said. So I'm really excited. If I'm in the mood to read something that will make me smile or make me laugh, I'll probably read what do you call this one? The Human by Matt Haig. The next the next book that I'm planning to read is going to be number 15, Star Sight by Brandon Sanderson. This is a science fiction / fantasy under the category young adult. This is the second book of the series, a new young adult series by Brandon Sanderson. The first book was Skyward, so I'm really planning to read Starsight now this year. I haven't yet have a copy, which is a paperback copy. I'm still waiting for my copy to arrive. Hopefully it will arrive soon so that I can read it as soon as possible. And next is going to be an adult thriller, mystery crime thriller, and that is one from Harlan Coben, and that is Home, one of the best books based on reviews that he have written. And yeah, it's about a boy who saw his father digging one day in the woods, and then no, that's not the correct one. Home is different. That's the woods. When it comes to Home, the main reason why I'm going to read Home by Harlan Coben is that because Home is actually, out of all the works or all the books that was published by Harlan Coben, Home is the one that was rated highest on Goodreads, and I still don't have a copy for that. I have a copy of The Woods, and it's not that it does not have a good review on Goodreads, but I'm still I really trust Harlan Coben. I'm a big fan of him since last year. So if the woods, I mean home, is the one that has the highest rating on Goodreads, then I need to pick that one up and read it this year. Oops. Okay. Next is going to be Kings of the Wild. Kings of the Wild by um, Nicholas Ames, and this is an adult fantasy, which is this is actually a book that I've read on try a chapter book tag a couple of weeks ago, and I did really love it. But I preferred All the Light Galaxy, Night Circus, and what's the other one? I forgot. Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. So after reading those, I probably pick Kings of the Wild, and I'm really sure I'm going to read that this year. Promise you, Nicole. It's actually Nicole who's really trying to push me or trying to motivate me to read that one. So yep, it's a adult fantasy with good set of characters, as they said, and also a lot of humor. So if I'm really in the mood to really read something that will make me laugh and smile, then I'll probably pick that one up with dragons, or I don't know what's really the fantasy or the magic system in that book. So yeah, I'm quite excited to figure that one out. Next is going to be Rebel by Marilu. This is a young adult science fiction. The fourth book, which is a lot of fans was really surprised that there's a fourth book, because everyone's expecting it's only Legend, Prodigy, and Champion, and then out of nowhere, Marilu just released a fourth book of the series. So it's no longer a trilogy; it's a series already, and it's Rebel by Rebel. And this time we're following the point of view of Eden, the younger brother of who's the guy again? The main character? Day? Yep, Day, right? So I actually don't have any idea or what's the synopsis of that book, because I'm really shocked until now that there's a synopsis. But someone gave me a gift last year, so I now have a copy of Rebel, so I am really sure I'm going to read that this year. Next is the second to the last book is going to be A Little Life. I forgot the author for this, but I know that it's A Little Life. I've seen a lot of reviews on this on Instagram, on Facebook, and I've seen a lot of multiple copies on Fully Book, a local bookstore here in our Cebu, and it's actually not that expensive. It's pretty cheap. So I decided to add it on the books I want to read this year, since it got also good reviews and a lot of awards. So again, I trust the reviews, I trust the awards. So yeah, I'll pick that one up, but I am quite intimidated or hesitant to pick that as soon as possible, because there's a lot of trigger warnings for it, especially for depression and suicide. So let's not talk about that one, but once I'm ready, I'm going to read that this year. And the last book I'm going to read or planning to read this year is going to be Educated. This is a memoir, or I'm not really sure, but I've just seen it once. I finished All the Light We Cannot See on Goodreads. It was suggested. If you love this book, you're going to love also Educated. So I'm also going to pick Educated. I forgot also, I don't know who's the author, but I know what's the cover is. But don't worry, I'll be keep you posted on these books. So yeah, those are the books I'm really planning to read this year, and hopefully I'll be able to read all of them. That's why, and I know I would like to apologize, this is actually really late. I should have released this video as early as the first week of January, but I was really busy in the office when moving into our unit. So thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.